Hey everyone, welcome to the studio. I haven't been in here in a while. We're going to talk about something that I think is really, really cool. It can get very complicated, but as you recognize from the title, this is the Hafele baseplate organization system, part of the Fineline kitchen line. I know I'm Obsessed Garage, but we built a brand called Destination Obsessed Garage with the concept that there are some underserved areas that I didn't know about that I've discovered over the years and have found complicated or annoying to deal with or to try to buy. And I'm sure that there's some great cabinet manufacturers that use this stuff, but I haven't come across them. And so I wanted to make this a digestible, understandable, and also just cue you in on what your options are and give you an idea what this stuff costs in case it's something of interest. This, to me, is a very simple, very DIY type thing you could do to massively improve your organization system in your kitchen. Of the options we're going to show you across various videos, the base plate is, I think, the biggest luxury because this is probably the more expensive part of kitchen drawer organization. But this is where if you have some nice pots and pans and you wanted to have a place where everything goes, you're going to sacrifice some real estate in your drawers in order to keep things in a very specific spot. But to me, I don't know, there's just something magical about opening a drawer up and you have, some people prefer to put their plates in drawers or cups in drawers. I usually put my plates up above, but like all of my De Boyer carbon steel, I have, what is my new favorite? I have made-in stuff, which I don't love, at the Helen House. But I have De Meyer. De Meyer is a Zwilling brand. They make Henkels and stuff like that, but they make, I think, the best pots and pans. And so I have all my De Meyer stuff all gridded out in 3 drawers underneath my cooktop. So the way the base plate system works, there's a couple of ways to buy it. You can buy it in a kit, which is the kits come with a 30-inch base plate and then 12 round pegs. You can choose your finish. I guess it does make sense to buy the kit. I did the math. In pretty much all of the finishes, there's 4 finishes. If you buy a kit, it saves you about $100. And depending on whether you do walnut or black ash or oak. So actually, I take that back. There is no oak kit. So your first option in purchasing this is you can purchase it in a 30-inch, that's this size here, and you can choose a kit. And so they make a black ash, a birch, and they make a walnut to veneered kit that includes 12 pegs, and that saves you about $100. And just to give you a reference point, so if you did black ash, the black ash base plate kit, and you did the pegs, so it comes with the pegs. It also comes with the little rubber feet pre-installed, which I think is dumb. I don't know why they install the rubber feet, because oftentimes you end up having to cut, so you end up having to pull them off and put them back on. So just picture, I don't have it here, but picture you had 3 sets of 4. And so the black ash version of that base plate kit is $325.72. I don't know where they get these numbers from. Maybe it's some multiple of their costs or something like that. So birch is always going to be the least expensive. So the birch finish, and I find that birch matches maple the best. It matches most drawer insert, the inside of a drawer. It matches most best. And birch is a nice flat matte finish. It doesn't look as pretty as the walnut. Doesn't look as pretty as the black ash version. But like all of my drawers, with the exception of my outdoor kitchen where I did black ash, all of them were birch. And so birch is quite a bit less. So just to put it into perspective, $288 for birch, $326 for black ash, $479 for walnut. So the walnut veneer is the most. So what I did with most of the 3 or 4 kitchens that I've done with this is I bought like a base plate kit or 2 in order to get some round pegs, and pretty much all of the things I've done, I ended up with too many round pegs, so I ended up with a bunch of extra ones. So I would say maybe buy 1 kit That'll get you 12 pegs, and then buy a la carte what you need, because you'll want some of the triangles as well. But when you're buying the base plate, start with this as you're making your decision process. Go measure your drawers. Or go pick the drawers that you want to put your pots and pans in, that you want to do your drawer organization. In Helen, we put all of our bowls, plates, and all of that stuff in the base plate system as well. So figure out the drawers that you want to do. That's step one. Measure the drawers, and then decide, do you need the 22 by 22 inch plate? Do you need the 22 by 30 inch plate? Or do you need the 22 by 40 inch plate? So if you have some really big drawers, you might need to do the 22 by 40. Now all of these, you're almost guaranteed you're going to cut. You're going to cut it to fit. So always go oversize. If your drawer is 23 by 24, that'd be a weird drawer, but if it was, a 22 by 22 is not the way to go. You'd want to buy the 22 by 30, and you'd want to cut it to fit. If it was that dimension, you'd be kind of screwed, because most drawers aren't going to be that deep. So you're always going to cut the back off. So I think they do choose the 22 inch width because there are very few drawers that are ever longer than that. And if they were, you could take these, cut it down, and do it long ways. It would just cost you a lot more money. So choose your base plate. Buy as many base plates as you need, and kind of think through, do I want to buy some base plate kits to save some money on my dowels, on my round pegs, or not? So think through that. Obviously then choose your finish. The base plates are all a veneer. So if you take a look at the core, it's an MDF core. So yes, I know these are expensive. The 22 inch plates, $156 for the walnut, $128 for the birch, $120 for the black ash, and again, they don't make a white oak in this finish, but all of them are a veneer. So it's a birch veneer with an MDF core. It's an ash veneer with an MDF core, and ash obviously isn't black, so it's a dyed or painted ash. And then the walnut is a walnut veneer with a MDF core. I would wager a sheet like this of just pure walnut would cost a darn fortune. So the base plate is a veneer. All of the base plates come with the feet here, and the feet can pop off and go back on. So if I pop this sucker off here, the glue generally holds up. I could take it off and then put it back on at a different spot if I needed to. Once you pressure fit and cut this, once you put it in your drawer, the feet really, what the feet do, I'll show you in a second. The feet elevate it so that you can put your peg system in, so you can put your various dividers in place. So those are the 22s, the 30s pricing. Again, this is 2023 pricing. I'm sure it's subject to change with our rising inflation nonsense. $285 for walnut, black ash is, these are 34 inch plates, not 30 inch, 22 by 34. $232 for black ash, and so $284 for walnut, $248 for birch, and $232 for black ash. And we'll have these all on the site as well. Just depending on when you order, most this stuff has largely been in stock. Notice I'm missing the walnut. I just ordered this like 2 days ago and got it, pretty quickly. So they were missing the walnut pegs, the round ones, and then I have birches at home, so I didn't bring those here. And then the largest plate, so this is where you can get oak. Oak is kind of old school, so you'd have to have like an older home with older cabinets. But the oak veneer is one of the less, it's the least expensive. The white oak is $267, black ash is $287, the birch is $288, and the walnut is $350, for the big 40-inch sheet. You really shouldn't need this unless you just have a really remarkably sized drawer. I think all of mine were 34s that I just cut down, and so it's going to be rare that you need the 40-inch set. And so the 40-inch comes in all 4 finishes. So then you're going to decide, and this is a tough thing to decide, how many of these do I need? how much of this do I need to get. It's kind of annoying to return this kind of stuff because you end up paying more in shipping than you get money back. So I mean, if you really wanted to, you could over order and then just return it to us, but then you got to pay to ship it back to me. So you can do one of two options. If you're just independently wealthy and don't mind spending a little bit extra money, if you're an idiot like me and just try a bunch of stuff. I ordered way too many pegs. Like I literally ordered, because I'd forgotten it came with the kit, so I ordered like 2 or 3 kits. Then I ordered like a dozen extra rounds. I think I have like, I ended up with like 30 extra pegs, something like that. So a ridiculous amount. And I ordered like a dozen of each divider, and that was stupid too, because I used like 2 or 3 dividers in my whole kitchen. And so you probably don't need as much as you think. But if you're not independently wealthy or just you're just unmeasurably stupid like I am, then order less. You can usually get it in a day or two, so you can kind of lay out your pots and pans, and then you can kind of order them as needed. It is nice, I will tell you, to have extra, so you can kind of cut and paste, if you will, or pull things out. The pegs, so the pegs, or the round pegs, the triangle pegs, the dividers, these are not veneered. They're all solid wood. So like this is actually oak. So you can see it's oak all the way through. So I think per unit of wood, these are quite a bit more expensive than the veneered stuff, because these are actually solid wood or solid finished. You can see the walnut here, like this is actual walnut. And it makes sense. Once you put this in the drawer, you're never going to see the underside of it. Whereas these, the top of this needs to be, because it's going to sit like this, needs to be a finished type material. And I think that, that gives you an advantage now. Gives you an advantage that the scene item is the real wood finish. And black ash is a dyed ash, so it's ash, but then it's dyed, dyed or painted. I guess it'd be painted, very likely. Same thing with the dividers. You can see it's not just veneered on 4 sides. That would be stupid. It's actual piece of walnut. So here's how this would go. I have my pegboard. Let me set this one aside. Let's just kind of work on one of these little 22s. I have my drawer. Let's pretend that this black piece is my drawer. All right. So here's my drawer, and I cut it to fit. So I cut it exactly to fit. I'm going to want it to pressure fit in. You're not going to put it in until you put at least a few pegs on. And so what I do is I put it on my countertop and I lay out my pots and pans. I should have brought some here for you to kind of show you how this goes. So let's just say this drawer I was going to do like bowls and plates, right? So bowls I'm going to do in the front, and plates I'm going to do in the back. And so the reason why you have these little bumpers is that you need to be able to take, figures out, let's not do the birch one, let's do the walnut, because let's do the ash. Okay, the birch is my drawer, the ash is my insert. And so let's say I'm going to do my triangle plates, these triangles for my plates, and I'm going to do it here. So you would have had your plates laid out. You reach from the bottom side, screw it in, and then I would sort of line this up. Here's one thing that I don't like about these. So, and one tip that you could do. So these inserts, so they probably drill this, put this in a drill press, drill, tap it out. Then they take this threaded insert and hammer it in place. The problem is that to get it torqued the way you want it, starts to back out. And so it'll go on nice and tightly, but they'll tend to loosen up over time, because if you torque it too much, this insert tends to pull. So what I did to all of mine is the night before, I take a little dab of wood glue and I put it on here, and then I take this and I thread and unthread it to get the glue out of it, and then I just let them sit. So I take all of mine, stack them up, put a little dab of wood glue on there. If you wanted something a little more sturdy, I guess you could get some sort of epoxy and kind of squirt it around there. But if you really wanted this to be permanent and to be really stout, you will find that these, if you torque too much, it'll pull it out. And then over time from your kids, and if it was just me, it'd be fine, but Michelle and the kids are freaking banging stuff in there, and these can tend to loosen up over time. But once you get one of them in here and you have it pressure fit into your drawer, you can always use this to kind of pull it back out if you needed to. But generally speaking, you're going to set this all up on the countertop before you put all your dowels in, right? Or before you put it in, and you put all your dowels in before you put it in the drawer. But you can kind of see pretty simple stuff on how this works. You can also see that these, again, these particular base plates to me are quite a bit less appealing than like your flatware organizers and stuff like that. I still did all of my drawers because there's something magical. I have way too many drawers for the amount of stuff that I have. And so if you're like me and you keep the amount of stuff you have to, to a reasonable level, you'd set these, on all four ways, and you'd put like your bowls in here, your plates in here. You do the same thing with the round dowels, where you pick your position, you set it up, and run the thread up through the top. Then you'll use combinations of round and triangle depending on what you're trying to organize. Maybe you've got something weird with a weird handle or something like that. I even have some of like my Demeyer where the handle has like a little fork, and so I'll put the handle through here so that way it keeps it from wiggling back and forth. So there's all kinds of various, things you could play with in setting it up. I also find these to be really useful. Sometimes, like on the pots and pans, I will use the dividers in order to just keep it into place. So there's no real right or wrong way to do this. You're just going to start putting these into position, and you're going to figure out, what makes sense. How am I going to line this up so that I can get the most efficient storage this is about looking good and about the thing going in the right spot, and then recognizing when, I guess something's missing and you don't want it to be. But you can kind of play with how your division goes. You may have something here, and then you have something here, and then you put some round dowels. And so a combination of having some of the dividers, having some of the triangles, and having some of the rounds, you very likely end up with some of them left over. It's a pretty expensive leftover, but it is one of those things that, if you're like me, I'd rather have some leftovers and get the project complete than not. And so the installation of this, as you can see, if you're somewhat organized, the installation of this is really simple. The hardest part is cutting the drawer, but you know me, I'm like a medium male. Like I'm not like a legit real man. I'm like a medium real man. You measure twice, cut it on a table saw. I'd highly recommend, we sell the Milwaukee cordless table saw. Again, I'm a medium real man, and I use that darn table saw, it seemed like, every other week. It's expensive. I think the table saw is like $700 or $800, $600-800, something like that. But help me help you. I'll sell you a table saw and sell you all the Hafele stuff. But to put it into perspective, as I wrap up this video here, you can buy more of these. I haven't needed them yet, more of the little bumpers. You have to buy it in a sheet of 98, and they're 50 cents a piece. So you're, $45 for a sheet of them, and you'll use like 3. So I wouldn't suggest you do that. All of these come with the bumpers, so you shouldn't need any more. Worst case scenario, if you had to pull it off, you could put a little dab of glue on there and reposition it, if you had to pull it off to cut. The triangle posts are $120, so they're pretty expensive. $120 for walnut, $80 for birch, $172 for white oak. I don't know why white oak is so much more. And then black ash is $88. The round post, a little less. The round walnut is $97 instead of $120. It's $60 in birch instead of $80 for the triangle. It's $88 instead of $172 for oak. And then black ash are $72 instead of $87, so $15 less. The dividers get pretty spicy pretty quickly. So the dividers, walnut, 33, 48, 88. So 33, 48, 88 for the big one. The birch stuff is 25, 32, 65, 80, 85, 113 for white oak is how it works out. Then the black ash ones are actually pretty cheap, 30, 35, 70. Cheaper than the others. I guess not, it's still more than birch. So I know this gets into the ridiculous territory, but this is what I frickin' do. You know, I like things organized. I like things structured. I wish that somebody had told me about this a long time ago and then dumbed it down and simplified it for me so I didn't have to buy 37 extra frickin' birch dials or round pegs and 45 extra dividers that I didn't need. I wish someone would have given me at least some of these tidbits. Ultimately, though, I'm only getting you like 80% of the way there. You got to take it home the rest of the 20%. I'm making the product available, helping you understand how to do it. This is 100% a DIY project. If you can use a table saw, even if you can't, just watch my video on the table saw and just watch, just don't cut your frickin' fingers off. That's your own dumb fault. Don't blame me. Or you know, you can go to Home Depot and rent one, you know, for like 30 bucks for a few hours. You would do your whole kitchen, your whole bathroom, your whole office. You could do it in like 2 or 3 hours. You know, rent the table saw for half a day or 50 bucks and rip through this really, really simply. So, I mean, you make a couple of marks. Go check out some of our other videos. We'll put link in the description or put it in the cards up in the top right-hand corner so you can see we did the Harbor Hills house. I'll show you how we did it. Really super, super simple. So next video on the Hafele stuff, or I don't know if we do the next video, but other videos on the Hafele stuff will be the fine line, like the flatware. Those are the drawers that I think are a must. They really can change your whole organization level. And we have some videos on like doing the Helen house and so on the Harbor Hills house. We'll do get some footage of the Darlington house here and doing some more installs of this. But if you're watching this video within the next month or so, hit me up. I do need to sell off all of this stuff, and I may not have exactly what you need, but I may have 1 or 2 things. Hit me up and I'll give you my cost, which is a pretty substantial discount over what these things retail for. So, you know, if you hit me up and want me to, you know, give you a great deal in order to help me get out from underneath, I bought these just so I could take pictures of it and so I could show it to you on camera. Almost all my drawers are done, so I have a few birch pieces I'm going to use, but I do have a bunch of this stuff that what I can do is take what I have and order what you need and set up your whole system and get you a pretty substantial discount on this stuff. So if you're watching it a long time from now, then I've already sold it. But if you're watching this here recently, hit me up and I'll help you out. So anyway, thanks for watching. This is not as complicated as you're thinking in watching this video. I hope that I at least gave you an idea. It's really a couple of parts. Pick the base plate kit. If you don't want a kit, pick the base plate size based on your drawers, then make a determination on what color do you want. Most people are going to do birch because that matches your drawers the most. Birch looks way better in most maple drawers than oak would. Oak looks a little dated. You would only do oak if you had oak. The black ash I think is the coolest finish, but to put black inside of a maple cabinet I think would look a little weird. So it depends on your cabinet type. But so then after you pick your color, choose some of these. Since they are so expensive, I err on the side of buying less than you think, and then you can always order more as you need as you figure out what your drawers are aligned like. Lay it out on your table when you get it home. Actually measure twice, cut once. Lay it out on your table at home or lay it out on your countertop. Lay everything out, get it set up, put it in your drawer, and then admire it for the rest of your ownership of your house. I'm telling you, you do this to your kitchen and someone comes and looks in your drawers, you may not get any more money for your house, but you're certainly going to get some people that realize, oh man, if this guy's drawers look like this, what's the inside of his air ducts look like? What's looming behind the walls? Because they know that you're going to be taking care of your crap. So I'm doing this for me, but I have found that the wives go crazy over this kind of stuff. Once they see a house that has this, I go crazy over it because I freaking think it's awesome to have all my stuff organized. I'm going to continue to work on other solutions like doing some grip liners and stuff, but stay tuned for that kind of stuff as I figure it out. But yeah, Hafele, base plate, drawer organization. It's freaking awesome. See you on the next one.